And how much lead do you put on there? How many ounces?
Yeah, I'm around 9.7. That's the
total.
Then again,
wow.
Depending on weather conditions and stuff like that, it could get a little heavier, a little lighter, depending on what we're playing.
So yeah, kind of the whole reason why we're here today is that both Meghan and Andrei are both supported and sponsored by Proton paddles, and Proton recently sent me their paddle line to review, so I wanted to get kind of a better understanding of how the most elite players in the world feel about their Proton paddles, how they play compared to other popular paddles, and sort of what sets them apart from the flooded paddle market. So let's kind of jump right in. I do want to pay my respects to both of you. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Andrei and Meghan, you're both pickleball pros, pro athletes, and you both also, I read, have pretty outstanding tennis pedigrees. Andrei, you were a tennis pro, and Meghan, you were Division I at BYU, right?
Yes. Yeah, correct.
Okay. I sent you all some questions. So kind of the first one I wanted to touch on is, which of the Proton paddles are you both currently playing with?
All right. Yeah, so I'm playing with a Series 1 Type A, 11 millimeter. That's my weapon of choice. I've tried some of the new ones as well, the Series 2 and the Series 3. We're also working on some different models of the Series 1 as well. But right now, my weapon of choice, my most comfortable paddle in the line is definitely the 11 mil Type A Series 1. That's the one I've been playing with for about, since the MLP Atlanta. So what is that, about 4 or 5 months? And yeah, even though I've tried some of the other ones and some other paddles as well, I like it the most.
Yeah, and I'm using the same exact one that Andrei's using. It's just a different color scheme. And I really haven't had time to try the other Series 2 and Series 3 yet. So I'm looking forward to trying those. But I do really like this paddle, especially because since it is 11 millimeters, that's kind of what I'm used to as a thinner paddle. So it moves through the air, pretty quick. And I probably will continue to stick with a thinner paddle. It just suits my game well.
That's right, Meghan. You came from the ProKennex Black Ace, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that one's a 10 millimeter. So I think that might be the thinnest paddle on the market. So I was really happy that Proton had one that was pretty similar to that. So the adjustment period honestly didn't take long at all.
So what made both of you choose the thinner core over the thicker one?
For me, it's just personal preference, to be honest with you. I'm not the engineer type of guys when it comes to paddles. So I got all the models he's got and everything he came out with, and I tried them all, and I can't say it was a big difference for me between 11 to 15. I just felt that I was able to maneuver the paddle through the air a little bit better, and I wasn't losing that much control, and I was getting some really good pop out of it. And that was kind of it for me. I don't, like I said, I'm more into kind of how the ball plays off the paddle and how it feels in my hand rather than, all the other stuff that goes with it. I don't really do too much homework when it comes to that. It's more about feel for me.
Right. I'm kind of in the same boat, but for me, I don't know, holding a thinner paddle with my two-handed backhand, it just feels better in my hand. And also, like he was saying, it just maneuvers. It's a little bit quicker since it's not so thick, and I'm still able to get control with it. And I feel like using my hands is one of my biggest parts of my game, and so the thinner paddle just is better for that.
So I'm hearing both of you say that kind of maneuverability and the lighter swing weight of the thinner paddles is kind of key, and it retains kind of the control that you needed.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
We already chatted a bit, Meghan, about your previous paddle, the ProKennex Black Ace, but what did you all play with before you went to Proton?
So I played with the ProKennex Black Ace for almost two full years, and before that, I was with Gamma for I believe 6 months. So I would say most of my career I've played with the Black Ace. So that's what I have most of my matches with.
And I was with Selkirk for the longest time, and I was playing with Yola too.
Oh, you played with Yola for a bit?
Sorry?
You played with Yola for a bit?
No, it's Selkirk, the 002. You know
the 002, that's right. Yeah, I remember you playing with that. Okay, now you jogged my memory.
Yeah, and probably, I forget the exact timeline, but it was definitely a long time with that one, yeah.
Yeah, both of those paddles are some of the poppiest ones on the market, the 02 and the Black Ace for sure. Are you both playing with, I think there's a square and an elongated version of this paddle. Are you both playing with the square?
Yeah, I've got the square version.
Okay.
As well. I just like that it's a bigger, it feels like the sweet spot's bigger to me. I've always kind of liked the traditional just square shape. I haven't really played with many elongated paddles. I would have to use it probably for quite a bit of time to get used to it. So this one just kind of, I adjusted to pretty seamlessly.
Yeah.
Same for you, Andre.
For me, it's just the way it moves through the air, to be honest with you. I feel like this shape is just a lot better when it comes to hand fights and just, resets, and I just feel like I can maneuver it a lot easier than the elongated one.
Excellent. Well, what are your favorite things about the Proton paddles?
My favorite thing, honestly, is just how much spin I've been able to get. I actually had a few of the top women players that I played against this weekend say to me that some of the spin I was giving on my dinks was like hard to handle, and they were a little surprised with how much I was able to get, and it was really kind of jumping at them. So I'm loving that. I'm able to do a lot more and get a little bit more creative, and for me that's probably the main part that I love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Obviously spin is definitely the big one, like Megan said. It's right on the limit with how much spin you're allowed to get on the paddle. But for me, it really is. It's again just that balance between spin and power as well. Because a lot of times when you play with a paddle that's got a lot of spin, doesn't really have that much pop. So I think they've just nailed it in terms of that balance. Because even though, like Megan said, you can get so much bite on the ball, so much spin on the ball, you're not lacking anything in the hand fights either. So
right.
Yeah, I think that's the big. You're always trying to navigate a line between poppy and control and being able to get spin and obviously even though everybody tells you that you get both spin and power, usually you kind of get one or the other. So that's the one thing that I'm the most impressed with is them being able to, Charles, the owner, is really into technology, and he will talk about paddle technology for hours and hours at the end. And
I also want to say that the durability of the paddles is really impressive as well. I feel like so many players, after one day of playing or 2 days, they want to switch it out and get a different one because they're losing spin or they're losing pop or they're they have a dead spot. And I've only been using Proton for like the last 2 months, and I mean the first paddle I've used is still great. I've only really had 2 on me, and I've been using them both kind of interchangeably, but they're still great, which I feel like you don't get with a lot of paddle companies. And so I really like how long they last, and that's good for consumers as well.
That's great for consumers. But you're still using your original paddle from 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've only ever had two of these. I mean, obviously I could ask for more, but I haven't needed to. They've been lasting, and I still get the same spin and power. So yeah.
I actually find that it plays even better once you kind of break into it a little bit. So I'm playing with probably a paddle I've been used for the last 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've got a bunch with me. I always travel with at least 5 paddles, but at least that's the way it feels to me. Like the more I kind of break into it, the more I use it, the better you play. So compared to the other paddles, that the more you play with the less spin you can get, obviously.
And Andre, you said you've been using your paddle for 3 months, and do you rotate between 1 or 2 also?
I mean, depending on the weather conditions and stuff like that. I mean, I have them weight a little bit different depending on humidity and altitude and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I'm on the same paddle. Yeah.
Very cool. I don't weight my paddle at all. So that's something I might eventually play with. I just never really have done that. So I kind of just take it right off the shelf and play with it, but might mess around with that soon.
Yeah. That was going to be my next question. What kind of paddle modification? So Meghan, it sounds like you're not using lead tape or anything.
No, not currently. The only, I guess, modification I do is I take the main grip off because I like a smaller grip, and then I'll just do two over grips. I use drip grips. It's kind of like the Wilson grips, and I do 2 of those. So it's just a little bit thinner than what the original grip is.
Yeah, and I definitely use some lead tape. I like to play pretty heavy. And I like a thinner grip as well, but what I do, I just don't put an overgrip over my paddle. So like it's straight onto the main grip, just the way it comes from the factory. And that's the way I like to play with it. And, unlike some of the other grips that I've used in some of the paddles, it just doesn't really wear off, so that's the nice thing about it.
So you're playing with the factory grip then, no overgrip?
Yeah, no overgrip whatsoever. Yeah.
And how much lead do you put on there? How many ounces?
Yeah, I'm around 9.7. That's the
total.
Then again,
wow.
Depending on weather conditions and stuff like that, it could get a little heavier or a little lighter, depending on what we're playing.
Do you like heavier paddles in more humid conditions or vice versa?
Yeah, definitely. When I played in Utah in the TOC last year, I think I played like 7.8 just because the ball was flying already. But yeah, I've been obviously in Florida. I play a lot in Florida, very humid, sea level. Air is very thick here, so playing light is not so much of an option. You have to get some leverage. So so then I bump it up a little bit. Yeah.
And where do you put the lead? Yeah, where do you put the lead tape on your paddle? Is it kind of on the throat or?
Whatever I do around the head is what I put in the grip as well, just to counterbalance. I like the balance of the paddle, so I'm not one of those people that just puts lead tape around the head of the paddle. Depending on how much weight I need, I usually put it around the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock spots on the paddle on the sides, and then whatever I put over there, I counterbalance it by putting the same amount in the grip. So
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, in the grip, I like to put down on the mushroom part of the grip, right at the bottom.
Gotcha. So you're not making your paddle any more head heavy by putting lead at 3 and 9 o'clock because you're counterbalancing that in the handle.
I like the way he plays like that. Yeah. So I'm not doing lead tape to change the balance of the paddle. I think that's a little bit kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, if you don't like the balance of the paddle, you should probably try a different paddle. It's more just a question of, again, just applying the paddle to the conditions and getting enough leverage off the paddle.
Right.
Do you take off the main grip and put the lead tape on and then regrip it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
A lot of people do that, yeah.
A lot of people do that, yeah. That's one of the things I've been wanting to try.
Yeah. It's trial and error. It's not.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know. People are always toying around with lead tape.
Whatever feels good. And for example, last week in California, it's dry air and cold and all that. So I definitely played pretty light over there. I think I was around 8.2, 8.3 ounces on the paddle. So yeah, the ball was flying like crazy there. So.
Do you have any kind of signature paddles in the works, or are you going to continue playing with kind of the stock paddles?
I've been trying to come up with some different designs and trying to nail down exactly what I want for a signature paddle. I mean, I do already really like the paddle I'm using. So I don't know how much different I would make it. So I'm kind of in that trial phase of I want to try some different prototypes of like shapes and designs and whatnot. So in the process of making a signature paddle, which is very exciting.
And you have a two-handed backhand, so are you going to try to make a longer handle on your signature paddle, or?
I actually don't love a longer handle, even though I have a 2E. And it's interesting, if you look at like Annalee's paddle, and she's got, one of the best 2Es in the game, she actually has a pretty short handle. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I feel like having a smaller handle, the sweet spot's just feels like it's in a better spot. And so I've gotten used to, I put my finger up on the paddle like this, and I've just gotten used to that. So having a longer handle, I think, would mess with the sweet spot a little bit. So I'll probably keep it close to what it's already at with the Series 1 Type A.
Andrei, how about you?
Same boat. Working on a signature paddle for sure, but kind of trying out a lot of different variations of different paddles. So it's in the works for sure, but right now it's pretty much at the start of the process, just because I like to try a lot of different things before I find the exact combination that I like. So probably a couple of months away from it, but you'll definitely see a signature paddle soon from Proton with my name on it.
Are you both going to continue using the nanotech surface, or you might switch over to the raw carbon fiber or the grit?
For our signature paddle?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good question. I'm most likely going to keep the nanotechnology. I really like it so far. So yeah, that'd be my guess. I'll have to maybe try the raw carbon that they've made as well and see, compare the two a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same for me. I think the nanotechnology it's great. But like I said, I'm experiencing with different things, and I'll continue to try different things and different settings on the paddle, different ways, different balances, and try to nail it down. But my favorite surface so far is definitely the nano surface, the Type A.
Yeah, what about graphics? If you one of the cool things about the nanotech surface compared to raw carbon fiber is that you can really work with graphics on it. You can print graphics on those compared to kind of having to paint graphics, laser graphics over the raw carbon fiber. So, I think the current graphics for the Proton paddles, the Series 1, aren't to my taste. No offense to Proton. I get it. It's kind of a retro look. Not for me, but I'm sure a lot of people will like it. But I don't know. Where are you going to go with the graphics?
That's probably my worst department, so I'm going to defer to Meghan on that one.
I'm just going to put a portrait. I'm just kidding.
I love it.
There you go.
The signature paddle, just have my face on it. No, honestly, I like things just very simple. So mine might be, I don't know, on the more like sleek, simple, just little like trimmings of little trim of color, or like a little pop of color. But yeah, I like pretty basic design.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe that'll change, and I don't know, because like I said, we're in this phase right now, so maybe I'll be inspired by something and that'll change. But usually fairly simple. Yeah.
Even though I'm not good at coming up with it, I'm the opposite here. I find those black paddles so boring. So I'm the color issue and being able to see the ball and all that, but I still think the paddle should look cool. And even though I'm not the best at coming up with the right design for making it look cool, I think I actually like the design on the ones that I'm holding here, the colors and everything. And I definitely just not a big fan of that. Yeah, black color.
Black, white
perfect.
letters.
Yeah. We'll have two very different options, so that'll be good for the signature.
It doesn't look so light. It doesn't look so fun. It just looks boring.
Fair.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too when we were talking about paddle colors. I heard at the Masters, didn't they disallow the Selkirk Power Airs that had the brighter flashes of white in them? Is that right? Because I saw players playing with kind of the purple version of it because it's darker.
I didn't hear that, but I believe it. I'm not. Yeah.
I heard that. I just can't. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I heard it. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Did they? It looks like both of yours, Andrei, are kind of the darker colors, but I imagine that they wouldn't allow Isn't there a lime-colored Proton paddle?
Yellow and green. Yeah.
Yellow and green. Okay. Yeah. That might have been disallowed too.
That's pro events, right?
Pro events, exactly. Not amateurs.
Yeah, talking about the general population. It's.
Uh-huh.
I think it's weird.
I've seen amateur events where guys are dressed up like a pickleball. They have bright yellow green shirts on, bright yellow shorts, and a bright yellow paddle. I'm just like, oh, come on, guys.
It really does make it more difficult.
It does.
Yeah. I personally, does it make it more difficult? Yes, but I personally think that thing is blown way out of proportion. There's other things that could be changed in the game that are way more important than, again, I understand the white paddle and the fact or the green, and it changes sort of the color of the ball, but again, it's taken way out of proportion. I mean, it's being made such a big deal out of it, and I don't think it's got its place there. And that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people disagree with that strongly, but yeah, I think a lot of people are out to look for excuses. And look, I've played a couple. I mean, I played numerous times against Tyson or James when he was using the white paddle, and it's a poppy paddle, obviously, and it's white, and they're just hitting great shots. It's not the color of the paddle. They're just good players, and they're hitting a good ball. So I wasn't having trouble losing it or anything like that. It's same.
You might have better eyes than most of us, Andrei.
Sorry?
I said your eyes might be better than most of us.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I'm not the youngest horse in the race anymore, so I'm sure there's other players with better eyesight than me. But
I feel like I'm always having trouble with different things. So for me, I'm on the end of when there's white or yellow. It is tough for me. I don't think I've ever openly complained about it, but I will say it has affected.
I mean, if you
matches.
Just openly complain about it, I don't hold any grudges against anybody. I just think, again, sometimes you see it with the amateurs at like the 3.035 level complain about how the paddle is like.
Right.
It's like there's other things out there that are a little more important than the color of the paddle, But I'm always up for the paddle looking cool. I think it just makes it more exciting. It's kind of the same with tennis if you look at it. They've gone with some different colors and different designs, and Babolat has had a combination between yellow, white, and black on the sides, with the Nadal racket back in the day, and had that light blue, like the aqua blue and the black. I mean, they're always trying to come up, and I just think it looks a lot better,
Yeah.
It's like the logo on the strings, for tennis, they have the logo on the strings. I think that looks really cool compared to like a paddle that doesn't have any logo. So I think anything that you can add like that, I just think it makes it better, yeah. Obviously not at the expense of players like you or other players. There's a ton of players that have issues with that. So I'm all up for safety and obviously being able to see the ball. I think that's the most important thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that you can actually print graphics on this new face. They were able to do it on fiberglass faces, but everybody switched over to raw carbon fiber and the peel ply textures, and those are, like I said, harder to put graphics on. So it'll be kind of a blank slate now. Maybe we'll see a new wave of cool graphics coming out.
Yeah, very true. I need to take that into consideration because I did one test round of what I'd want mine to look like, and it's very plain. And so I didn't even consider like how we could really probably make the graphic however we want. So I'll need to rethink that.
Cool. Well, thank you both so much for joining. It really means a lot. I think this is a really cool kind of format. I've never interviewed anybody for a paddle review, but it's so good of you both to join me and kind of give me your thoughts on the paddles.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, John. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Hope to see you all at the next tournament that I show up at.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Take care. Have a great night.
You too. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.